Well, welcome everyone to another episode of Vision of a CEO. Today is our second episode of this amazing channel, and I just want to say thank you everyone for tuning in for the amazing messages from last week. I am extremely excited because, as everyone knows, this is one of the best things that I always like to do to share all the information that I can get. And as you probably know, or if you don't know, this kind of podcast and channel is not that one of a kind. It's not like the same one that you have seen before. This is where you're gonna be seeing all the new stuff, all the truth, the reality, like no pelos en la lengua. And we are here today to talk about more about how I got into this journey, how actually people are faking it in social media, but not only social media, thinking life in general, because there's so much going on when it comes to building a business. And that's exactly what you hear. We're going to be talking about business, behind the scenes business, the stuff that these new CEOs or wannabe CEOs don't tell you, the stuff that marketing actually takes, the stuff that people don't want you to know that they're struggling with because they just want to pretend certain things when it comes to having a business. But again, I am Jennifer Firpo. I am the founder and CEO of J Vision Advertising. And what I've been doing with all of this material and content that I've been sharing with you is to kind of like pivot everything of the different things that people have told you when it comes to marketing, when it comes to building a business, the stuff that people don't tell you. Last week, I was talking about how I got into advertising, why did I chose this kind of like sad, I want to say that it's really saturated kind of industry because everyone wants to be in marketing or everyone wants to be in advertising and they want to share their ideas and everyone somehow they are a expert of everything that they do, but the reality is that no one is really an expert of anything. What actually happens is that people learn how to do things and they share their perspective. But a lot of people, they want to fake it out there. They want to say stuff like, hey, I know how to do this. I'm an expert of doing this. You need to do business just with me. Well, this is not what it is. I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but you have to continue learning. You have to continue educating yourself. But today, we're going to be talking about how I got into this country, how I actually ended up having a business, and the different struggles that a lot of people out there don't tell you, and that you probably are facing. And if you're facing, please reach out. Maybe there are ways for me to assist you in order for you to kind of like get out there and make sure that other people can't relate of these different things that we are doing at the moment. So again, I came into this, as you probably know, if you didn't see my last video, I was born and raised in the Dominican Republic, really proud of an island girl. And I am part Cuban too. And one of the things that I always thought that I wanted to really do, it was most likely present. I wanted to speak in front of a crowd. And I told you about this, that I didn't really exactly knew what I wanted to be when I grew up. And I went from different phases, from being really creative. Well, I have been always really creative, but I wasn't always really outgoing, so I wasn't sure. So I went to the phases that I wanted to be a doctor until I saw the big books and I said, no, no, that's not for me. But then I always wanted to be a dancer too, and I still wanted to be a dancer. And let me tell you, that's dancing is like my biggest passion. Well, right after advertising, of course. And I always have been an amazing enthusiast when it comes to dancing. So that's there. But I didn't make it as a dancer either. My dad and my mom, they didn't really allow me to go to these places, the dancing studios or anything like that, because we didn't have a car at the time and they both had to work and no one was able to take me. And you may be thinking, oh, what about public transportation? Well, my dad and my mom, they were really strict and overprotecting in certain things, so I wasn't really able to do certain things when it comes to it, like going by myself, especially that I was a girl. I'm a girl. And in the Dominican Republic, there are certain restrictions protecting girls a little extra than boys. So that's actually great. And but yeah, that's what we are. That's what happened. And that's why I didn't be a dancer. But then again, I was going through different phases. And then when I was in high school, that I decided not to pursue being a doctor, I discovered, I remember that I was growing up with a cousin that he was a graphic designer. And as a graphic designer, There are so many things that you can learn. I always like to draw. Again, I have been always a really creative person. So for me, drawing was amazing. I always loved it. And it was one of the best things that I think I can remember that I enjoyed. I was always playing by myself, but even playing by myself because I love my me time. But even playing with myself, I had like my dolls as my audience. And this is what kind of like the signs that I was seeing, but I really didn't know what it was until I actually happened. So, well, you get the idea. You probably don't even know. Because again, no, you are not born knowing what you want to do. But long story short, I decided to pursue the drawing thing with my cousin. He taught me some techniques. However, I really didn't pursue it 100%. I'm not gonna lie, because you have to put in the effort for everything that you do when it comes to it. And if you don't do it, then you're gonna fail. And yes, failure is part of having experiences and kind of growing as a person. But again, like when you're not putting your mindset to do everything, that's like a little another hiccup. Same thing when it comes to your business. Same thing when it comes to kind of create your advertising campaigns, or create or maintain that marketing strategy, and pivot it a little bit, that you need to implement marketing into your business. But again, as we can get to know each other, you're gonna see the different things that I have to say when it comes to marketing, and when it comes to advertising, and when it comes to having a business, because it's not easy peasy, and it's not what people are thinking out there. It's a taboo that a lot of people they have, and surprisingly enough, when it comes to having that taboo marketing is really hard, especially that I'm in the business and I have my own business to help other businesses to get marketing. So it's a little tough to kind of not convince, but to make sure that people actually know the importance of marketing. Anyways, we're gonna get there soon. But like I was saying, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to be when I grow up. And in that sense, I kind of like I was like, maybe I can go in marketing. That was the first clue that I had. I was like, maybe I should go in marketing because I'm really creative and stuff like that. But in the Dominican Republic, there are really few colleges that have the marketing as a career that you can choose to study. And my dad didn't want me to go to those schools because, like, either uh, like a risk kind of schools, or like really low rate, and they were not really recognized when it comes to being outside the US. Something that you should know, I knew that I was going to come to the US from a long time, since I was a little girl. I knew that we were in the whole process of getting in here. And but what I didn't know is what happens when you get here, which is the theme for today. So after that, and all the struggle and all the back and forth, I decided to just go back and be like, hey, let me study something else, since marketing wasn't an option anymore. And I was pretty good in math. My dad is also a mathematician, so failing in math in my house, not great. It's really wasn't an option for me. We couldn't really we could fail any class. Actually, we were not able to fail because that was not an option for us. But if you choose which one you have to failed in whatever class except math. Even though me and my brother were pretty good, and my dad was like always on top of us when it comes to math and physics. So I was pretty good at math. I was like, you know what? Let me just go for maybe an engineering, and that's when I decided to do telematica. Telematica doesn't really have like a translation in English, but it's like a combination of computer science, communications, and in electronics, and all of it combined. So I did that for 2 years and a half. I came to this country in the middle of me going to college. I'm sorry, to study telematica. But the whole thing was that coming into this country, I wanted to finish my career. I wanted to finish my studies, and I was like only 1 year and a half away from finish it. But my dad, again, being strict, being that no, you have to be with me. No, I don't want to leave you by yourself. Back at the time, I had a boyfriend, which is my husband today. So it was like like a lot of like conflict in there. So in the end, he decided that it was best for me to come to New York, to live here in New York with him, which that's what I did. And then obviously my main goal was always continue my studies, to have a career, to go to college and get a bachelor's degree, or a licenciatura, how it's say in Spanish. And so we like to continue my path when it comes to studying. Little that I knew, coming to this country in 2007, I was so young, and the first thing that I wanted to do was not even looking at a job like everyone else. What I wanted to do, it was really going out there and go to school. I wanted to find a college that I can transfer my credits, because the school that I went to is really recognized, which is Pucamaima. I don't know if you heard of it, but it's one of the best private colleges or universities, I will say, in the Caribbean, and is recognized here in the US. But that not wasn't enough. So coming in here as a new person, as an immigrant with a recently green card holder, wasn't as easy as I thought it was going to be. And I wanted to start in September. I remember I came in July 2007. I wanted to start in September, but that was not possible. And I decided, I was like trying to go around. I was like, oh my God, I wanted to study. I wanted to study. So when I did my research and I've asked a couple of people to help me out, people do not really help you out, right? And unless that they really want to do it, like I try to help people as much as I can, as you guys probably know, and you're gonna see it as we continue to do these videos and these lives on Vision of a CEO every Friday at 8. However, not everyone is like that. And one of the things that I noticed is like universities has so many resources and nobody really tells you that they exist. But again, I didn't know. So what I was like trying to do is to trying to figure it out. Okay, so maybe I can do something different. I was trying to go around. I went to one of the center, the office, the official office for all the CUNYs, to see if maybe they can guide me and help me out with the right path. That didn't really work out really well. So basically, they said, "Oh yes, we know what Pucamaima is. We can um, validate some of the credits that you have from school." Again, I did 2 years and a half. That didn't happen, and they just said we can do just one or two because the career that you chose, we don't really do it like that. So basically, Telematica, what they do, they divide that whole career into multiple career choices that you can choose from. So they didn't really want to help me out to even like at least the first year, that you already know that the first year in college or the first couple of semesters is most likely basic classes. So they didn't really want to help me out to transfer those credits here. Little that I knew that actually I was able to do it in any other college, not necessarily CUNYs. But again, that happened. So I was not entitled to have any financial aid. I was not entitled to have any loans either, because again, I'm new in the country, and when you're new, you're not qualified to have any of this stuff in here. But again, people don't tell you anything. But I was like, okay, so I got really discouraged. I'm not gonna lie. So I tried to start working. I went to school actually for a couple of weeks for one of the CUNYs. I decided to enroll. I was like, okay, if I have to start all over, I don't have a problem. All I want, it was my title. All I wanted is to have a career. All I wanted, it was just to have a bachelor's degree and continue my path. That's what I wanted to do. I was really focused and like motivated to just do all of that. And after all of that, that's when they told me, oh no, you don't qualify for financial aid. You don't qualify for no loans or anything. I was like, wait, what? And so I'm not able to do it. Like they wanted me to pay out of pocket. Again, I'm new in the country. You wanted me to do that? I was like, wow, that's crazy. And unfortunately, I had to leave college and I couldn't do it. But as you all know, I do have a bachelor's degree. So the story really kind of ends great when it comes to studies. But the thing is, like, I had to stop during that time because I didn't have the money. I didn't have a job or anything like that to pay college. And, college is really expensive. So I was like, okay, so let me go back. Let me try to kind of refresh and get a job. But again, my focus was always to go to school. My focus wasn't to be in here and just get a job and forget about my studies. I really wanted to go to school. And I got a job. And I remember my first job was actually in a factory, a jewelry factory that they kind of manufacture. They received different kind of like jewelry pieces. And then those pieces will go to like sales or Macy's and other places that they have like amazing jewelry selection, which was really cool. And that was my first job. It was a seasonal job for like about 4 months. And I had my first experience there. Then after that, I was into oh, yes, I was hired as a babysitter for like a month for triplets. Can you believe that? Me, babysitter for triplets? Oh my God, it was like crazy. And then after that, my dad decided, like, hey, let me get you a job as a hostess in a restaurant, the restaurant that he was working. Again, my dad, remember that he's a mathematician. He has not a bachelor's. He had a master's degree in physics and math. So my dad is super, super smart. But coming to this country changes everything. So basically, all of that studies and careers and titles and experience went to trash. So he had to work in a restaurant. So he got me the job in a restaurant because I already was bilingual because I learned English back home. It was easy for me to get any jobs in a better position, to put it that way. So he got me a job as a hostess in one of really good restaurants, actually, Irish restaurants that is called Connelly's. And I had an amazing experience there. But again, I had to work like 12 hours a day, more than that, every single day. And even though they had the flexibility to kind of like let me take 1 month vacation here and there so I can go to the art, visit my boyfriend, who's my husband today. And they gave me a lot of flexibility, so I cannot really complain when it comes to it. But working so many hours during the day, every single day without stopping, and then finally after like a year or so get a 1 month off without having any single day off whatsoever, it's not easy. And I noticed how my dad was working so hard. It was like, this is not what I want. I want to go to school. I want to finish my career. I want to get a bachelor's degree. And I tried to do everything that I could. I didn't just want to stop there, so I decided to study medical assistant. Again, remember that I said that I didn't want to become a doctor, not like a few minutes ago, but that was the easiest choice. And that was the only way that I can actually get some kind of certification so I can get another job that is not so many hours or it's not in a restaurant, and maybe climb myself out there and get like more opportunities. But uh it was like that, and I did help out. It did help out. I finished my certification of medical assistant. I even got the national license for being a medical assistant, certified nationally. Because again, when I do something, I want to make sure that I do it right, and I finish my things, that I continue doing it, and I want to continue doing it until the end, until I see the final goal, and then I'm able to actually finish it up. So when I focus on something, either I get it or I get it. Not necessarily that I'm gonna be stubborn in a way, but yes, maybe I am. But I focus on what I want, and I kind of like wanted to continue doing what I do. And so that's that. So I did that. I got a job right after. It was a 1 year. It was a whole year. Yes, the certification was an entire year. I finished. I graduated. I did an internship, and I got a job into the as a medical assistant. And in between all of this happening, I actually went back to the Dominican Republic in 2008. Obviously, I visited my boyfriend, who's my husband at the time, who's my husband right now. I visited him a couple of times. But I went back to the Dominican Republic because since I wasn't able to study, since I wasn't able to do much, my husband didn't have a visa or a tourist visa or a green card. So I went back home and we decided to get married. He asked, he asked me to get married in 2007, and then I said yes. So we got married in 2008. So all of that happened when I was like trying to still figure it out. Like, hey, let me go get married, process his paperwork, and then come back, and maybe one day we can be together again. And so I did have that in mind. And then after I got a job as a medical assistant, I obviously quit the job in the as a hostess in the restaurant, and I decided to go back and try to see. Well, now I have like a more steady, a more flexible schedule for me to study. Let me try and go back to study. I did. I found a school. I was finally able and entitled to get financial aid and a loan. Obviously, I had to take a loan. And I was able to actually do it online. So I did a bachelor's degree in advertising design online. But in that meantime, I was working as a medical assistant part-time, and then I was going to school. So then I decided to go and visit my husband one more time. While in the process that he got here, I got really bad news from my doctors that I had like trees of cysts in my ovaries. So I had to make the decision to do surgery to remove the cysts, or I could try to get pregnant, and even though I was really young and that was not my focus. Remember that I said my focus has always been to go to school, get a career, and be a professional. Okay, so I never mentioned anything about getting married. I never mentioned anything about having kids. That was not my focus. I was not that kind of girl. That my kind of girl personality is like business, go to school, get a house, like be financially stable. That kind of personality, that kind of mentalities that I have. Maybe that's why I have a business. Not really sure. But again, who knows? That's who I am. So I did decided to have a kid with my husband, and my husband always wanted to have a kid, so I didn't want to be a selfish person. But again, that was our decision. We had I became pregnant somehow from some miracle, so it was good. Then I kind of healed, so everything was fine. And when I came back, I was like, this is not gonna stop me. This is not gonna stop me. I need to go back to school, which I did. I found a school. I was able to go to school. I graduated cum laude, actually, in advertising design, which I believe that deserves the coffee moment of the day. Graduated cum laude, being pregnant, having a husband far, far away, and try to maneuver and get a part-time job too in the meantime of doing all of that. So if you are struggling out there with your business, that too many things to do and you don't have time, just listen to my conversation and my story, and hopefully this can motivate you, because you can do anything. As you all know, I'm a coffee lover. So when it comes to it, there's always gonna be a coffee moment or a coffee weekend moment in this podcast in Vision of a CEO. So to finish my story, I did get my bachelor's degree. I graduated cum laude, and I remember that I got a job in a construction company, and basically I'm so thankful that I got that job, because I was not just able to graduate and do everything I wanted to do, but it gave me the opportunity that I wanted to do, to be working in the marketing perspective. So I was not just the marketing manager or anything like that. I was the assistant of the owner, but because I was the assistant in a small business, I was able to kind of manage every single department: the finance department, the marketing department, the administrative department, the payroll department. I mean, you name it. I was doing everything, but I was able to get on hands to do an entire marketing campaign in a traditional way. And I remember it was a mail campaign. It was like one of those direct mailing campaigns that you send out like 10,000, 20,000 like postcards, postcards. Oh my God, I forgot. The postcards to a targeted specific audience. And I was able to do the research of what kind of audience, how many people were going to send it out, how many cards we need, the postcards that we need, the addresses. I had to figure it out how to deal with the post office, and how to deal with this kind of direct marketing campaigns. And I remember I was also able to do the whole design for the entire podcast. Oh my God, I keep saying podcast. It's postcards. Oh my God. I'm so sorry, guys. I think I need more coffee today. As you probably know, uh, it's really early. I woke up early, like always. But again, so yes, the postcards, I was able to design that. And I was able to actually design my boss at the time business cards in a totally different kind of way. And it was so cool that I was able to do all of that, because he loved it, and it was so totally worth it. And that kind of experience gave me the push that I needed. Like, I'm pretty good at this. I can actually do this. And you never know, but things actually happen for a reason. And here I am. I have my own business. I have an advertising business. It's called J Vision Advertising. You probably know it, but if you don't know, you can see it in the back of my background, which is J Vision Advertising. And the slogan that we have is actually called Your Goals Are Vision. And that's exactly what I mean. I can just help you having the best advertising campaign out there, but I can actually help you implement it. I can help you maintain that strategy, and I can actually educate you to know why it's so important to have a marketing strategy implemented into your business, to pursue your goals in your business, and to never give up. If I was able to do all of that in the meantime and not giving up, I think you guys can do it too. And I think this is it for today. But next week, I'm gonna continue my story, and I'm gonna tell you more about how did I got here, how I actually have a business, and all the struggles that I went through and that happened out there. So again, thank you everyone for tuning in. Have an amazing long weekend. It's Memorial Day weekend, and I hope you get to enjoy it. And hopefully, the weather around here gets better, because to me it feels like winter, and I hate winter, as you probably know. And if you don't know, you should know by now. I hate winter. I'm a summer person. I was born in the Dominican Republic. What would you expect, people? So I hope that the weather gets back on track, this rain goes away, and that we all get to enjoy the long weekend. Have an amazing weekend, guys. And see you guys later. Bye.